Hi, we're back. This is Raj. So welcome. This one's going to be about having an nth brain in Ogro. So yeah, this is usually in the last video. In the last video, let's fix your view for a second. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so in the last video, Emacs in the wild, I think I had writing a package. I did mention about having a private sort of knowledge vault, which I don't push on my public repositories. And I thought, why can't I do that with Ogro? I wanted to have multiple Ogro repositories. So vaults is a concept from Obsidian when I used to use vaults Obsidian back in the day, and I do miss that. So I thought, why not try implementing that or exploring that? But then even before actually Actually, okay. So the thing is, I mean, I just moved around a little and I found that it could just easily be implemented with a couple of functions and some context. So this is that journey. This is the documentation of that journey. All the dot files, all the links, everything is going to be in the description. So you could easily replicate it. I will package this soon. So I mean, yeah, I think I'll put that in the description as well. So the packages will the installation instructions and everything. It's nice. It's functional. It's pretty handy compared to what the docs have been saying and like what's happening usually. So let's get it. Let's get into it. Uh, there's some more. Yeah, I mean, I'll cover a whole lot more rambling in the introduction. Let's get into it. So yeah, this is about vaults in Ogroom. Uh, everything's in the description. Dot files. Everything's in the description. All right. So Rome is sort of great. I have all of my most of my notes in Rome. I mean, I did mention that around 30 to 40% of whatever I learn goes into my second brain. Uh, what about if you want to have private brains, or if you want to have multiple public brains, or whatever, nth brains? So that's the thing. Nth or Rome or nth Rome is something that this is going to address. Uh, the pain point is actually just that. I wanted to have some stuff that I research about that I get into to be private. So having a private repository would be sort of nice. Uh, yeah, and being able to switch easily between your public and private repository uh, without minimal with minimal programming. Programming in the sense that, of course, you could bind it to keystrokes and stuff, but then with minimal context switching is would be handy. I mean, I don't want to go around setting variables manually. Or I also wanted to scale in the sense that if I wanted to have multiple vaults, it's easy to add them and to maintain their context and everything, and not have to manually go around and start setting stuff. So that's that. That's what I would address. It's actually pretty functional and it's nice. So we'll get into that. The previous context, people have tried this before, and of course it's easily doable. But then probably what I'm doing is, I think, the most optimal right now. So if we check out some solutions, this is an issue from 2020. So I think that is Ogrom V1 and the author of the package, Jethro. I don't know if I'm getting that right, but then it's like, yeah, you just switch your directory, you get a completing read for your new directory, you set your Ogrom directory, and you build cache async. So that build cache async right now is like an Ogrom DB sync from V1 to V2. Ogrom V2 right now does a DB sync, but then, yeah, that is not the most optimal way because I'll show you. So I messed around a little and I saw some underlying functions. Uh, to actually observe what's the most optimal, we'll have to get into how Ogrom actually functions. So it's basically just the state. It's like two levels of persistence. You have your files in the directory structure. So, for example, let's get into one of my nodes. Let's go to the index node and observe the directory structure. So this is a typical Ogrom flat file structure. So this is going to be your files with your IDs and links to those IDs. So that's what's forming the graph structure. This is your permanent level of persistence where which stays. But Ogrom doesn't directly function on that. So it does not, every time you sort of traverse a link, it does not search for a link by grepping everything, catting and grepping everything, or something like that. Not like that. It maintains a DB. It maintains a database, an SQLite database, SQLite. I don't know how to say it. If you're like an SQLite guy or a SQLite guy, yeah. It maintains an SQLite a SQLite file. So that's what the cache is. That's the cache level persistence of the whole package. So whenever you switch context, what you want to do is switch the database as well. And you could either, okay, so if you sort of share databases, it could be either with you switch your directories and then you share the database, or you just create a whole new database and you switch and you sync, that sort of stuff. So that's that. The main thing is you would also like to switch databases, have separate databases for separate vaults. Uh, so that's the handy trick. That's the handy trick. If you just do a clean sync, it's going to be very slow. Let's get into the code, how I land up into it, and to make it say usable. And let's go to a new, yeah. So here we are. Let's make it convenient for you guys again. So yeah, that's better. Okay. So I am here in my homegrown code. So what I basically do is I just maintain a hash table of my vaults. So there's a public vault and there's a private vault. So a private vault is just it could point to a Git repository or a folder or a directory. Sorry, saying folder is a sin. Yeah, not a folder. Yeah, a Git repository or a directory, a local directory on your system. And yeah, so this is a private Git repository for me. I don't have anything in it right now because I just wrote this yesterday. So yeah, there's that. So just maintain a hash table of where you want to go, and you maintain a current context variable, like where you want to initialize your how you want to initialize your whole uh, org structure in which what you want to initialize that in. So and you have functions to alter your database directory and your database as well. So the handy trick right now is usually your org DB location. The default one is this, an org DB in your Emacs files, your local cache Emacs files. So the handy trick is to maintain a separate database for each of the vaults. If you don't do that, and if you run a sync, what's going to happen is when you switch vaults, is going to completely sync all the nodes uh, from the different vault into that particular DB, and that is very slow. I don't know. I probably have a lot of files, a lot of nodes. So let's just check. Uh, where was I? Hmm, yeah. So let's do a quick ls. Okay, I'm not here. This is in context. Yeah. Let's do a quick ls and I think I could do a WCL. Yeah. So I've got 1500 nodes. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. I've done an ls and a WC and the number of lines. So that's around 1500 nodes. So that's quite a lot. That's a lot of nodes, and that takes some time to sync. To actually show you how much it takes to sort of sync something, I'm going to actually like resync the whole thing. Let's say uh let's do it. Yeah. Um, hold on. Let me just delete the existing DB. No, an Ogrom DB sync. Okay, so when it's active, an NRS will not take a whole bunch of time. It's processing and it's modified and it's done. But let's say if I were to sort of, okay, you know what, the best way would be to sort of practically explore it in the functionality, how I evolved it. So let's go there. Okay. So that's how you sort of maintain a different DB for each of your vaults. So you just create a separate DB. So if it's a public or a private one, don't use the default one. I have a separate one for a public and a private one. So that's mostly the thing to it. And another important thing when you get into it is when you actually switch. So it's the structure is basically the same, just that how you switch the DB is different. You do a completing read for the vaults, of course. I've bound it to an RVA, so I can switch between a public and a private vault. So right now I have a public vault, and I've bound to what my current vault is just to an space and RVB. It's a simple message. So I think that's somewhere here. NRV. I think that's a lambda right away. An interactive lambda. Yeah, and NRVV is just messages what my current vault is. So there's that. Let's get back to Roam stuff. Yeah. So when I actually alter a vault, uh, I first do a completing read, of course, like which one vault do I want to switch to. Then instead of switching and doing a DB sync, I do a DB sync first. So I just write any changes. This probably is unnecessary because I think you have I think it's a auto save thing. It's an auto save thing. So this is probably necessary. So you might even comment out this line. Uh, let's explore. Is there is there an auto sync or room? Yeah, there's an auto sync mode. And right now, yeah, I'm not sure if it's enabled or not. Okay, enable toggle. Let's see. Okay, it's a mode. But I'm not sure if it's enabled or not. But anyway, so if you enable this, this is probably not going to be needed. What you want to do is you just close the DB connection. So this is going to close the connection with the current DB, the SQLite file, and then you switch the vault. Then you switch the vault. So you just set your vault, the context maintaining vault to the one that you chose by the completing read. You set the org room directory to where that to the corresponding directory from the hash table, and then you call up an org room alter the DB location. So this is a simple one. It just creates a DB of that particular suffix, that particular word suffix in your Emacs files, locate user Emacs files. So that's the local. I think that's the .config Emacs .local cache. Yeah, those files. So that's where it creates a public or a private one. Let's explore those. It's .config emacs dot local and cache. Yeah, there you go. So there I have my caches to DBs, everything. So this is the default one. April 1, 1640. So yeah, yesterday at 4:40 is when I wrote this thing. And that's when I last used this particular DB. That's the last modified. Since then I've been switching between the public and the private one. So yeah, at 6 o'clock I sort of finished writing the whole thing. 6:20. So yeah, the public thing. That's it. So yeah, the private one is of course we'll get into it. That's the new one. That's so small. And buffer is something that we're just testing to sort of for demonstration purpose. So like, I can go ahead and delete that. Yeah, these are DBs. So you delete a connection. You sort of close the connection with one of the DBs that the current one is. Then you sort of switch to the new DB. You set the Ogrum DB location to your new vaults DB. And once that happens, you initialize a connection. You don't need to sync it. You initialize the connection because it's an auto sync mode. So if you aren't messing around too much and you're like letting Emacs do its thing, whenever the DB is being loaded again, it's going to be in its proper state. It's going to be synced. So you don't need to do a complete sync right now. You just get the connection. That's it. And that's a vault ought to succeed. That's it. That's the thing that you need. So right now let's get into it. So okay, before I was doing that, I did not have okay, so before I was doing that, what my original function looked like is just this an org roam db sync. Just give me a second. I know you can't see it. Yeah. So there was an org roam db sync out here. That's it. And what would happen is I was not switching the DB properly, and what is happening is this alter the DB location. Uh, what it would do is it would set the new DB to be that, but then sort of it was resyncing the whole thing. It was resyncing the whole thing, and it used to parse all of those 1500 nodes from the get-go. So that is not what you want. Let's go back to where it was. This, yeah. So you sync it. This is unnecessary if you're at an auto sync mode, but then I'm not sure. Just to be on the safer side, to have my changes written back to the permanent level of persistence, that is the file level stuff. I do this. Yeah, this caches. Yeah. So this saves the cache. So this builds the cache for the older vault and saves that so that the next time I switch to it, I don't have to desync again, and I can just get started off with a quick connection initialization. All right. So that's that. I have the alt. I have the vault alter. Let's and I bound that to a space nrva and a space nrvv. So my space nrvv right now is public. So I'm in a public vault right now. Let's that is where my index was. That's the brain dump that you see on my website. So that's the bitmage.com. Yeah, my nodes that you see here, those are my public nodes. So this is where this is built by my public vault. So that's that. I wanted a public private vault, so I just create a private Git repository, clone it, and that sort of stuff. That's the usual stuff. Then what you do is you sort of set it up in your vault hash, your vault hash. So my vault hash. Let's go to my vault hash. That's my vault hash. So my public is mapped to that, and my private is mapped to that. So when I do a space nrva, what it's first going to do is first going to uh, of course, promptly for a completing read, I select private. It syncs my public DB to the local cache. Then it closes my current connection with the public vault. Then I set my current vault to the vault. I set my directory to whatever the desired directory is from the new hash from the hash table. Then I sort of get my connection after then I alter my DB location so that goes on to the new DB in my Emacs files. So that's going to be the private DB. And then it just fetches the connection. I don't need to sync because yeah, it was already saved in a consistent state when I last closed it. So when I do a space nrva, I switch to private, syncing changes, and my vault alter succeeded. So now if I do an nrf, as in a node find, uh, it is just going to show me the nodes that exist in here. So let's say I create a node. Let's say I wanted to what probably would I talk about in my private stuff? Okay, I mean it's a Git repository, so I'll just cancel whatever. Let's say I create a test node. So yeah, let's create a few tags, test. So everything carries because it's a whole in the database. So your tags are directory specific, vault specific. Yeah, so you don't have to share, and it's pretty handy switching. That's the fun part. So let's say I create another tag, test1 or whatever. I create a node. So in this particular vault, in my private org directory, and I have the index and the test. So yeah, I don't need to sync this. So let's say if I wanted to switch back again, if I do a space nrva and I switch to public, it's going to sync everything and the vault order succeeded. Now, if I hit nrf, it's going to show me the node find from my public vault, and everything's out there. And my tags, if I try to search for my old tag out there from vault one, it's not there. So all of my yeah, all of my tags are separate, all of my nodes are separate, everything's separate. Let's say if I create another node in here, let's say I do a space nrf and org room or something. Let's create nth-brain, nth-roam or something. Yeah, let's create a node and add attack emacs, and let's just let a brief description was for org room. Do I have an org room node is what I need to see. I don't. Room, org room, I don't. Room envy. I think this was an initial project that I got into. Yeah, yeah, I think this is okay. So this is something that I had initially thought of doing before. So it's actually happened. So that's nice. So let's go back to my capture buffer again, and I hit CC. That's it. So my nth-roam is stored in here, and that is stored in my content directory. So that's my public vault. Now, let's say I switch back again. I save everything. Do a space nr. Okay, not in an RF. Space nrva. I go to my private stuff. I'm syncing everything. My vault order succeeded. I do a space nrf and index and text test. So that's nice. And my tags are also maintained. I don't think you can see my tags. Uh, okay, if I move myself a little, yeah. So there you go. That's my tags. So my tags are not being carried forward. It's all separated, neatly separated, and the switching is also nice. So that's nice. Okay, so that's cool. That's mostly it. Let's go back to public again, and it's handy. Succeed, that was success. And if I go for a space, okay, let's close this space in RF, and if I search what I'd added and everything, go for an nth-roam, it's there. So that's that. That's nice. Cool. So that's that. And what I'm going to show you now is how easy it is to sort of alter it. I'm in my config again. Yeah. Okay, config. Let's say if I wanted a new vault, I just add what the name of the vault should be. Let's say I want it to be test and where I want to store it. I'm going to store it. And this file directory is not created, by the way. I just want it in the buffer directory. So not buffer. Let's just say test row so that I don't probably have conflicts. Because I use the buffer keyword a whole lot. I save it, and now this is available to me as a vault, as a new vault. So if I do a space in RVA and I go to my test vault, I hit enter. It's going to save all of my current changes, and it's going to alter the vault. And now if I do a space in RF, it's first going to ask me if the directory does not exist. So it's going to ask me to create that. So I'm going to say yes. Let's say I create an index. For every time I create a vault, I sort of like creating an index. So I'm going to do that. Now it's saying the directory does not exist, so I'm going to create it, and it created the index for me. So test vault. I hit CC, and it created the whole thing. I'm going to save it, and yeah, I am in my source and test room directory. This is this is nice. And then the neat thing about this is this transfers to all of the other functionality that Augroom gives you, uh, and it transfers to that. So something like Augroom UI, even that will sort of show you the brain dumps for different directories if you use this. So, for example, let's delete this vault. Okay, so deleting a vault is also pretty cool. It's very easy. You just delete the directory itself. Yeah, you delete that and you delete the DB. And just remember to also remove it from your vault config. So that's that. And if I do an RVA, test is not there. So that's it. I just had a vault and I deleted it right away. So the neat thing that I see about this is if I wanted to initiate a research, say a deep research. So in my public vaults, I usually don't go into depth. I make it generic so that it's more intuitive, it's more insightful to the generic mind. But then I do have projects and research stuff that I get into with the depth, where I sort of get into the nitty gritties. And that's where this sort of comes in handy. I sort of initiate a vault, I switch to it, I sort of do my research, I collect all of my resources. And by the way, everything carries, okay? So Citer or Ogrom UI. Let's switch to my public vault. Public vault. Yeah. Okay, hold on. No such spoiler directory. Did I not alter my DB location? Okay, I think I found a bug. Haha. I think I found a bug. Okay, I've switched to public DB. I am also going to alter my NRVA, go to the public one. Why is it asking me no such file or directory? And if I do a space in RF, it should be picking up my, yeah, it's creating it wrong. Yeah, so okay, that's a bug that I need to work on. It does not, yeah, when I'm like switching out vaults and I'm like deleting a vault, that's probably giving a weird error. So that I'll look into it. But yeah, so for example, if I do an Ogrom UI mode right now, it's going to throw me into, okay, it will leave me know. So that means it was already active. Yeah, there we go. So, uh, where is it? Where's my where are my notes? Where are my notes? Ah, hold on. Okay, I found a bug. That's nice. We'll get into that. But yeah, the thing is, this context transfers. It's like deleting a file and then working on it is not deleting a vault and then switching stuff is not working. Huh. There's probably something that I've not altered. Let's fix it right now. Okay, so when I did a test, what happened was it created a new file for me, a test.db. So let's delete that. It was on a cache test. Yeah, we're going to delete that, and I'm going to check my variables for consistency. Space the three db location. The public db is fine. Ogrom UI mode. Does it space the three Ogrom directory? My directory is test-home right now, so I did not switch that. So when I deleted it, my directory is not being switched, is what's happening. Huh. My Ogrom database directory is not switching. So let's just set that for now. I think it's Ogrom directory. That's it. Yeah, Ogrom directory. I want it to be the public one. And my Ogrom vaults, right? Yeah, yep, I think that works. So if I think that should be fixed now. The state is back to being consistent. If I do an Ogrom UI mode now, it's going to leave me alone because it was already active, and now it's enabled, and it's going to show me all of the nodes. Show me all of the nodes. Yeah, there you go. Cool. That was nice. So this is my public stuff now. Okay. Yeah. This is my public stuff. This is my public brain. And let's go to the private brain. I do a space NRVA. I switch to private. It's going to sync everything to my public stuff. It's going to alter my vault. The vault alter succeeded. And if I hit refresh, there you go. That's nice, right? Cool. That's just a text and index which was there in my private vault. So that's cool. That works. And similarly, everything. So citus stuff, everything works. So that's that. What's next is let's go back to where we were in yeah. I think we were exploring context. So far I was in nth-roam. Not this. Uh, YT. Nth-brain, yeah. This is where I was. Cool. So we saw the pain point. We saw the previous context. So previous context, what was lacking was there was it's there in the documentation as well. So the thing is, it's more about doing a DB sync right away. So like a DB build cache. So what that does is it's going to make you build the whole DB from scratch. I'm going to do it. So if you do that, what's there in the documentation, it's going to be very slow. So I'll show you. So yeah, this is what's there in this is what's there in the documentation. You have a directory specific DB location and stuff. Uh, yeah, at least once. Okay. So when I switch directory, so it's not going to be an issue when I switch from public to private because my private DB is like very small. But then when I do switch from private to public, taking 1500 nodes is bad. So that's the thing. You can have multiple large vaults like this. If you sort of do a disconnect and then a connect after switching the DB. So yeah, that's that. Remember to get a connection and close the connection before, and do a pre-sync instead of a post-sync. So that's the trick. So yeah, we covered it. We covered the whole thing. We got a feel for it. We saw how it transferred. We saw how it transfers to different packages as well. So Ogrom UI mode is something that works right out of the box. You don't have to do anything because like everything in Ogrom is built around your persistence layers of two persistence layers. So your cache being your DB, your SQLite DB, and your persistence, your actual persistence being your files or your repository, your Git repository. Not a folder. I should not say a folder. I mean, even though you're like okay, some of you could be Windows users, but then yeah, just yeah, folders. Just seeing folders feels bad. So there's that, and we did use a completing read and stuff. So space and RVV to see what current vault I am in, and space and RVA to what vault I want to switch to. I'm switching to public again, and I go space and RF, and I am back to where I want to be. So that's nice. That's that. Cool. So now let's expand again. Adding new vaults. We also saw that I found a bug. I am not maintaining. There's an inconsistent state when I delete a vault, so I'll need to check that out. Okay, and yeah, I think that's it. I will create a package for this. I will create a package for this. But yeah, now that we get into it, so this was mostly it. I mean, it took me like some time. So yeah, probably a couple of hours yesterday to figure this out. I of course was doing the same thing before, the whole DB sync, and it was very slow. 1500 notes, syncing 1500 notes is bad. So there's that. But yeah, anyway, so my by the way, this is introductory Ramble, so some postal updates. I have a surgery scheduled in a couple of days. I've got a banquet lesion. I don't know if that's what it's called. That's how you say it properly. And a slap. It's like a slap is like it's a tear basically. A slap is an abbreviation, not a slap. Plus an impacted fracture. The fracture is pretty big. There's going to be an arthroscopy. It's a minimally invasive surgery, but then so I should be walking out pretty quickly. I will have to. I mean, I think I'll be able to type pretty soon, so it shouldn't be an issue. But yeah, I will package this because it does seem like a lot of people could use it. There have been a lot of questions around it, so that's nice. Yeah, I mean, nth-roam or I don't know. I'll probably market it or something. I'll probably say nth-roam.el or something. Yeah, I don't know. So that's cool. And of course, my personal updates and everything. I have my blogs. There's the DDocs. There's the blogs I do write from time to time. Uh, This is where the post will go if I do have stuff. There's the brain dump, of course, which I showed to you right now, the public one. And the private one, yeah, the private one will not be, yeah, the private one I will not be sharing with you, of course. It's private. My Instagram, ln2 Bit-Mage, that's again a word pair entropy. That's like the nat-mage. If you have the number of bits multiplied with the natural logarithm of 2, you get the natural unit of information, nats. There's that. My GitHub, my Twitter, and my Goodreads. Do follow me on Good. I mean, do become do be friends on Goodreads if you read. I do read a lot, so yeah. I think that's it. So thanks for tuning in. This was Raj. See you in the next one. I'll hopefully see you in the next one. I probably won't be able to record for a while now. I don't know how it feels like getting a surgery. This is my first surgery ever, so let's see. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, and see you in the next one.